Everybody on the internet talks about suspension numbers, lift height, shock specs, travel. But this is what a Bronco actually looks like when the front suspension is finished. Wheel off, torque, geometry set, done. And no, I'm not judging yet, because stopping here tells you more than pretending the truck is finished when it's not. I'm John and this is Project KEHM. No sponsors, no discount codes, nothing for free. Just me in the garage finding shit out the hard way so you don't have to. When I say done, I don't mean good enough to send it around the block and hope nothing fucking falls off. I mean everything up front is actually installed correctly. Bolts torqued at right height, clearance checked, joints sitting where they're supposed to sit, crash bar delete handled. This isn't halfway through an install. This is the point where the front geometry is locked in. And just to anchor this in reality, I'm about 3.5 inches up front with the rear still stock. That's not something I'm judging yet. The rear's still stock, and that's not an accident, that's intentional. This footage isn't about how to install suspension. It's about what it looks like when you slow down and actually finish a job instead of rushing to the next step. Bolts torqued at right height, hardware double checked, redoing things that technically worked but weren't right the first time. It's not exciting, but it is the difference between parts being on the truck and the truck actually being set up correctly. Here's where people bullshit themselves, and let me be clear. This isn't a Carolina squat, a California lean, a Tennessee tilt, or any kind of TikTok nonsense. This is a build in progress. And I'll be honest, when I first dropped it on the ground with only the front done, I was a little bit disappointed. It didn't look as high as I had expected, or at least what I had imagined in my head. And that's the trap. Because with only the front done, you're looking at half a finished system and trying to judge the whole thing. Brake has changed, spring rate has changed, but the rear is doing the same old shit. So anything you think you've learned right now isn't balance, it's bias, noise, placebo, ego. So yeah, I'm not judging it yet. Not because it's unsafe or not because I'm scared of it, but because I'm not gonna judge a half-finished setup and pretend it means something. This is the part people get really dramatic about, spring compression. If you spend 5 minutes online, you'll be told it's dangerous, complicated, and something you have to take to a shop. I'm not saying you should be careless. What I am saying is, if you take your time, use the right tools, and respect what you're working with, this isn't black magic. I did this myself instead of buying preloaded coilovers, and it saved me several $100s. Not because I cut corners, but because I didn't outsource something I was fully capable of doing correctly. And it only took me maybe about 20 minutes per spring. Oh, there goes the bumper. This part wasn't optional. The crash bar deletes weren't about looks or chasing clearance for the internet. They were necessary to fit the 37-inch tires correctly without rubbing, binding, or lying to myself about it. This is one of those decisions people argue about online, but the truck doesn't care about opinions. Tires move where geometry tells them to move. And if you don't make room for the movement, something else pays the price later. Now, let's talk about time. This took me about 10 hours, and that's me by myself. Nobody helping me, nobody handing me tools, just me, the truck, and a lot of swearing. And before somebody comments saying that should only take X amount of hours, cool, come over here and do it then, because this is what actually happened. At one point I'm greasing everything up, and then my grease gun just shits itself. I mean, done. Grease everywhere, won't build pressure, completely fucking useless. So now I'm not installing suspension anymore. I'm cleaning my hands, changing my clothes, driving to the store to buy another grease gun. This little detour blew a solid chunk of time. And that's real world garage work, not some YouTube highlight reel bullshit. But this was the real kick in the teeth. I'm putting the UCA on and I can't find the nut. I know I had it, I remember having it. I look around, I can't find it. So I start tearing the garage apart and then it hits me. At some point earlier, I used the delta joint nut for the UCA through bolt. Didn't catch it at the time, which means the correct nut is gone. Where'd it go? The trash? So next thing I know, I'm outside digging through the trash in the dark like a raccoon with trust issues, questioning my life choices. It took me over an hour to find it. And that's not an install problem, that's a me being a dumbass problem. But here's the part people miss. None of that shows up on parts list. None of that shows up on a highlight reel. Nobody puts lost an hour digging through the trash on their build breakdown. But that's why this took 10 hours instead of 5. And that's why I'm stopping right here. Because suspension doesn't give a fuck how confident you feel. It only cares if shit is positioned correctly before the truck ever moves. Right now the front is done right. Not rushed, not guessed, not, it's probably fine.
All right, so here's the front suspension finished. Coilovers installed, upper UCAs, and the heavy-duty tie rods, as well as the crash bar delete. And I also trimmed back the crash bar pocket so I could get it flush as possible and out of the way of the 37-inch tires so I can get the proper caster alignment. And I'm going to get a crash bar delete from Lobo Off-Road that's going to remove that pocket and that angled section right there and open it up. So once I get my new bumper up here, this entire section that you're looking at right here will be gone. And I'll have plenty of clearance for my tires.
So no, this isn't a video about how this feels. Judgment comes later. Next up is rear suspension. And once that's done, the truck is finally a system. And then the conclusion actually means something. And if you want the nerdy side of this build, like speedometer calibration, why that matters, that video's coming. I'm John, and this is Project KEHM.